Hey people, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be all about the SNAA 1144 scale Iron Sickie. This model is full of detail. It's priced similarly to a HG model, but it's more like an RG. If you're interested in third-party kits, you want to stick around to the end for this one for my conclusion. I'm going to build it and give you my thoughts along the way. But yeah, grab a brew for this one. Let's get it made. Hey people, just a quick one. I've checked my analytics and 94% of people who watch my videos aren't subscribed. If you do me a massive favour, because it helps me hugely if you do subscribe. If you've watched more than one of my videos and you actually enjoyed it, do me a favour, subscribe. It means a massive deal to me and helps me to try and propel the channel forward to other people. And if you have already subscribed, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Hopefully I'm making the content that you want me to make. I'll see you soon. For now, back on with the video.
With what we've got for the box art is nice. They're clearly playing on the RG trademark in the right hand side with this BE Beyond Exquisite. So in typical sort of, I suppose, Chinese manufacturing fashion, they've clocked onto some of the key ingredients really with what Bandai are doing. It seems to be made by the Round Table Knights, or is part of a thing to do with the Round Table Knights. So I'm not sure what SNAA stands for, but yeah, this one is a 1144. It's called the Iron Sickie, and it does look pretty cool. You're looking at a kind of knight type mech with a massive scythe. All sort of very anime and over the top, which is cool. Looks like they've got a bit of armor, a bit of a gladiator helm to it. But yeah, it caught my eye and I thought I would get this one. I bought this from Hobby Zone in the UK. It was £20 delivered, which I thought was really good. And typical of Hobby Zone, they got it out, I think, the same day, and it was delivered within 2 days. I can't really fault that, especially for the fact that when you look on their website and it's down at £20, the actual delivery is free. So £20, let's see what this is like. Is it going to stand up to the kind of RG builds that we're seeing with the Gunpla? I'm just not sure. So let's unbox it and let's see what we get inside the box. Down to the sprues. So we've got the first one there. Sprues look really good quality, so everything looks nice and sharp, no major flash on it. The bits that we've got have got nice deep grooves that should panel line up really well. And we go on to these. So this looks like some internals, both frame and armor work. We've got some changes in colour, so we've got some of the yellow bits that are there, and then some light grey. That looks like bits of armour, they look like accents. This is the scythe. That's quite a nice size. So quite a big, that's my hand, that's quite a big scythe. So I'm hoping this is going to match up scale-wise with the RG Gundams. I've got no reason to think it won't at 1144. Yep, some more armour and some bits of weaponry. I think that is actually for the scythe. And then we've got some clear bits. That actually is a stand, so that's pretty cool as well. Comes with a stand. That is, yeah, that gets a tick in my box. You're looking at about £4 per stand for Gundam. So we've got a bit more, looks like a bit more armour there, and some more bits of internal. So this is part of the internal skeleton. You can see that's part of the head. Similarly here, we've got that, I think they're the legs. It's either legs or shoulders, they're quite big. Yeah, everything looks really well formed. No complaints so far. Looks like we've got a lot of side cutting to do. Doesn't look like a lot of undergating, but we'll pick that up as we kind of go along with that. We've got water slide decals. I think if you've watched a couple of my videos, you know how I feel about this, but water slide decals are the way forward. Stickers, not so much. They do come off over time, and they just look a bit tacky. So we've got instruction manual, nice artwork on the front of it. Instructions look very similar to Bandai. They look nice and clear. Okay, so usual thing of breaking everything down into steps. As you would expect, there are a set of instructions, and that's not too crazy. We've got the markings and stuff for some of the bits of water decals, which is okay. Bit of cool artwork at the back. And right, okay, so I actually thought this was missing. I was going to comment on it, but you have actually got a sprue check on the back, and where I would normally expect this to be inside because I'm used to the Bandai, you've got some of the tips to do the cutting here as well. All written in Chinese, but to be honest, don't really need it written in English to be able to understand half of it, to be fair. So this is going to give me the sprues. I'll check them through before we start making it, but I'm not anticipating any issues with this. So far, well packaged. It doesn't quite have the feel of getting a Bandai box, but I do quite like that is a really sturdy box inside, and it obviously keeps all your sprues in. So without further ado, we'll get on starting making it, and we are making, it does look like we're making a body section, trunk skeleton it's called, in this first. Okay, so top torso made. Pretty easy step, to be honest. A couple of things to observe really from that first bit of interaction and making this part. Plastic feels really good quality. The tolerances seem pretty tight. It's already been quite hard going on the fingers, to be honest. But yeah, just a quick observation. So good tolerances, but yeah, quality. I'm really quite impressed with the quality so far. Don't want to say too much. What I'll do is I'll make the crotch skeleton and the hand skeleton, and then I'll show you where I'm up to. We have got the top torso unit made. We've got the bottom part, effectively like the crotch, there made. Both arms and both legs. Now, I kind of left it till we got to this point because it's very, very quick to build. In all honesty, I think I've been going for about an hour and a half and I've made these. The plastics on this are really, really good quality. The tolerances on it are very tight. They are hard to put together. It's been a bit hard on the old fingers and thumbs, squishing some of the bits together. But I'm pleasantly surprised, really. Very, very much so by the quality of the plastics. You can tell by the way that it's cutting and by the way things are going together that it is very high quality. The only negative I've got is that them tolerances are so tight that getting those bits together and making sure that there's no gaps. There's a bit of a gap there, you see. Making sure that those gaps are sorted is kind of the hardest part. But I'm excited really in putting some of the next bits together, the armour. We're going on to make the head, the chest armour, and then the crotch armour. It looks like all we're doing really is adding to what we've got, albeit we haven't made the head. We're adding to the other armour areas, which should be cool. Really impressed so far, pretty happy with how the build's going. Let's see the next stages. Okay, so having added some of the armour pieces onto both the torso and obviously building up the head, the detail here is absolutely mega. There's some really good usage of extra parts that go onto the armour so that you're not relying on any one mould to bring you the detail. But yeah, really, really impressed with it. It really looks cool. Moving on, we're going to go and do the crotch area and build that up. I'm looking forward to getting all these armour pieces on and seeing what it's actually like, but going together really well. Nice, easy build, simplistic steps. Armour wise, this is going on really, really well. I can't believe the detail, if I'm honest, in the level of simplicity. The actual simplicity of it going together is brilliant, but the level of detail is mega. It's kind of very reminiscent of making a HG model, but with a sort of RG levels of detail. This is your frame system as it kind of comes. And as I've been building it up, we've got this element of armour being built up on the outside of our skeleton, very similar to an MG model. It's not even like it is a HG level of complexity. It's more like a small version of an MG, but not quite to the level that the RGs are in relation to some of the newer, like the version 2 RX-78 for example. But yeah, absolutely stellar. So far, so good. I'm going to finish this part off and then I will give you my thoughts on it.
Okay, so let me give you my thoughts on this one. In all, this is a really excellent model. Quality wise, the plastic is really good quality, not too brittle, feels very similar to Bandai type quality. The molds are very well thought out. There are a mixture of both side gating and undergating going on. At first when I looked at the actual sprues, I couldn't see any undergating, but from having made it, it's clear that they have thought out the process of assembly with that. And as such, there isn't a massive amount of nubs on this, which again leads to a really good finish and a really high level of detail. I've said through the build process that this is very, very similar to an RG model. It's not quite that complicated. It's more like a HG build. It's quite simplistic in its approach, but because it's building layer upon layer of armour and detail, it actually come out with a really detailed model. That brings me kind of onto value. Value wise, this cost me £20 including shipping. I've seen this go on Amazon for somewhere between £30 and £40. So the answer for me is I used Hobby Zone in the UK. They supplied that to me for £20 and I thought the price was really good. I didn't have massive expectations of this, and I thought I was going to end up with a very similar model to the HG Zeta that I built recently, which is one of the Build Fighters builds from Bandai. But this actually blows that clear out the water. It quite honestly is like an RG kit, but it's not got the level of infrastructure in the skeleton that is quite attained by the RG models. It's more similar to a smaller version of an MG, but quite literally the quality in the level of detail in the panels, in some of the grooves, the cutouts and the vents, it leads it to being a very good value prospect for a third-party kit. I thought there would be some massive downfalls with this, and there quite honestly wasn't. The only thing worthy of note in regards to sort of quality and value is that the actual fitment of some of the parts was quite difficult. More so than I would have got with a Bandai kit, but not to the point where I needed any extra tools to be able to complete it. It just is worth mentioning that some of the bits were tighter, and they remain tighter as we come on to posing. So posability, because this comes with a stand as well, another argument for good value, the posability of this is really, really good. I'll be honest, I've tried standing it up without the actual stand and I can't really get much of a pose out of it. I'm going to show you some of the basic poses that I've managed to achieve with this, but it does look very epic in any kind of pose you want to put it in. It's got a real Centurion, Goliath look to it, and especially with that massive oversized scythe, it just seems to tick all the anime boxes. I think there is a similar Bandai model to this, and I can't remember what, I think it might be called the Tall Geese or something similar. Forgive me, true Bandai nuts will know exactly what this is. It feels like it's kind of based on something like the Tall Geese, but it's its own version of that. Now on that note, I don't feel like this is a carbon clone of anything, whilst I might say that it might be inspired a bit by the Tall Geese. This is its own model, and I really appreciate its look and its feel. Whilst it has similarities with some of the Gundam models, it really does feel like its own thing, in which case I'm quite happy to recommend it. Again, on the value side, with getting the weapons, the stand and the model, this is a really good value proposition just in the model on its own. For a built out of the box kit, it's got water decals and everything else that you kind of need to make this look good. The only thing I've added to it is the Gundam markers, which have given it another level of depth really to the model itself. But I haven't used all of the water slide decals. I'll be honest, there's loads and they're really small, and so that got a bit tedious. So I've used and picked out some of the areas where I think that the decals are really good, and I've put them on there and focused on those parts. But if you wanted to go to town, it's easily got over 50 different decals to put on it. But it just adds to that level of realism, and it really does set the model off. In regards to the instructions were really clear. Each of the points was broken down into a nice section, and it kind of left you with a kind of cool situation, which I didn't take advantage of, where you could have laid the whole model out in its built pieces. So the head was built on its own, the chest was built on its own, and the legs were built on its own. So you could have built everything up and then right at the end clicked it all together. And I've not seen the ability to do that with some of the Bandai stuff through the instructions themselves. And I thought that was just a cool approach to the construction methodology of it. But yeah, really happy with the instructions. Colour manual as well, loads of nice photographs of a model and poses at the back of the actual instructions. And yeah, really happy with how that went together from the instruction manual. So in conclusion, this is an absolute recommend. If you haven't tried any of the SNAA products like I hadn't before I made this, you might be a bit dubious, but this is really, really good. The only thing I'd watch out for is some of the items like the scythe are actually quite sharp. You could cut yourself on them, so just be careful with that. But for the price, the value, the detail, the accessories, the weapons, all of it together as a package, it's just absolutely mega. And something that I don't want to say Bandai could learn from, but the level of detail for £20 in an RG effective kit in a HG kind of build, I think this is quite exceptional. So much so that I am interested in getting other SNAA models. If you've got any recommendations for them that I should be looking at, then please do let me know. I have noticed they are doing some ones which are 1/144 scale, and there are some that are 1/100. And I would be interested to see how their 1/100 scale actually fits against Bandai's MG range. I think, given what I'm seeing at this smaller range, I think it would give them a run for their money. So as always, if you like the video, please do hit the like button. If you've got a comment to make about this one, maybe you've built this one and you've got some feelings on it, do you agree with me? I was really blown away by the quality of this for a third-party item. I wasn't expecting to get somewhere near a Bandai quality model, especially for £20. But what do you think? We're a community and we should be sharing our opinions together. So do please get into the comments, leave a comment if you've built this before, or if you've got any recommendations for stuff that I should be building along. I have a load more models that I'm making at the minute, generally from Bandai, but also from other third-party providers. And I want to share them with you. So as I build along, I'll give you a lowdown on what I think. Until next time guys, I just wanted to say thank you for watching. Look after yourselves, hopefully get some modelling done on your own terms, and I will see you soon. Take care.